Hey friends, Kelly here. Welcome back to my channel. Today is the fun stuff. If you've been following along with my Halloween Happy Mail adventure, this is the video where I'm going to show you all about the packaging I came up with. So I really didn't know where to start to begin. Did that make sense? So I spent some time going through and putting things in little bags, and now I'm kind of at the point where I do start decorating. So I'm going to bring you in now. So first thing I have done is looked through everything and kind of tried to bundle things up. So I also spent some time going through my packaging that I already have. I have quite a few little plastic bags, and I will try to link everything below so that you have some resources if this is something that you're interested in. So basically what I'm going to do is just start putting things into bags and try to think through the packaging from the perspective of the person opening it. And then just grabbing out scraps of paper I have left over and kind of coming up with ideas. I did spend a little time going back through like my Instagram saved favorites and looking for inspiration just so that I didn't feel like I was kind of reinventing the wheel. And that was super helpful. So I will try to link below also any inspiration that I found. Like I've said in my other videos, I am Absolutely Alice, or Absolutely Alice. I'm not really sure which one she goes by now, but I think it's Absolutely Alice. She was a great source of inspiration for me and on Kate's desk. And what I really liked about both of those ladies is that they walk you through some of their process or project shares, and they're just very real. They're really real people about how the process goes, and sometimes things don't work out the way you want, and I just really appreciate that. So anyway, there's my little mini commercial for those two. You might definitely want to check them out. Okay, so I'll pick you up speed where I'm at here now. So a lot of this was just bag toppers, just trying to come up with bag toppers. I kept it simple. I just used a lot of stapling. And like I said, I went through the scraps from when I created everything and pulled out bits. And then I also used a lot of these little word strips that I had previously cut apart. These again were from Absolutely Alice, and I'll link that below to the video that she shares this. It's a PDF, and I just printed them out and snipped them all apart. So I have lots to work with. So I'm just going to go through and find a couple of little words that I like. So I really loved the idea of I put a spell on you, and then I loved the just simplicity of just the word strip across the bag, across the topper. But then I found this little witch that I hadn't used in my the rest of the things I had made, and I just adore this little witch. She's so cute. So the little word says something wicked this way comes, and then the little witch. So I've got that one done. Next, I'm going to move on to this larger piece here. And so I have two different sized bags. They're just a little bit different. So I was just kind of trying to make sure I had the right one. I really wanted one that was like perfectly sized, but I didn't really think that through when I put them on the acetate, and I was not going to go and change any of that. So I basically just found one that was a pretty good fit. I'm also going to go back into my sequin stash and just pop a few sequins in there, just leaving them loose. I really like the big sequins, and after this video I went to source out some more sequins for my Christmas Happy Mail that I want to make, and so I will link that below as well. Next, I pulled out one of the 6x8 Hey Pumpkin paper pads. I just happened to see Peachy Cheap earlier this week, or was it last week, had some Hey Pumpkin stuff on one of their deals. So I snatched it up. I actually got two of them. So part of the deal was this 6x8 paper pad. I am just going to go ahead and pull out some of the papers that I really like, that I think my friend will like. And I left the branding strip, if that's what you can call it, at the top with the little hole. And I'm just going to go ahead and put a little piece of ribbon through that and give her a few sheets of the pattern paper. So this Happy Mail project is really a combination of creating some fun little ephemera and bits and embellishments for her, and then giving her supplies so she can do her own projects. So again, I am going to slip in some of the stickers. I've gone to this little clear sticker piece that I had pre-printed, and I'm just going to decorate up this little washi sample. I had thought I was going to include more than one sample, but in the end I ended up just putting this one in. And here's where I just kind of bundled up a bunch of stuff into this bag. So I've got the clear stickers, I've got some of the larger rosette embellishments, the paper pad, the washi sample. I'll put a few of these smaller embellishments in. The little haunted house one, I ended up just giving her one of the haunted houses, and I will save some of these things for a future package, or I will save them for myself to use in projects or for inspiration for myself for next year. I kind of went through and was just looking to see any last little bits I wanted, and I decided to put this little sequin mix in that says "Hey Pumpkin," and then I just went through again and tried to find the last few things that I thought I might like to add. So I go ahead and I get that sealed up, and then I'm going to set that aside, and again I'm going to come back to it. So here's where I just went through everything else and started pulling out all of the pieces that I thought I might just save for another day. So now I'm going to start working on some of the extra little pieces that I want to put in. So I had these little bobbins, which I showed in another video, and I think it was like 99 cents for the package. I got them at Hobby Lobby. Such an awesome little thing to have. I end up, after I create all of these, I end up going into my stash and finding just a small ring to put them on, and I ended up adding more to it. After I got done, I thought to myself that even washi tape would look really cool around these little plastic bobbins. So I might take advantage of that around Christmas time. I might include both some ribbon, some embroidery floss, whatever other threads I come up with, and then just to fill it out, to put it all on a ring, I might also add in some washi tape. So I was really thrilled to be able to share some of my supplies. I don't need spools and spools of orange ribbon. I don't need all of these things. So it was really a joy to share this with a friend and to just really embrace the idea of generosity and giving to someone else. So I got so much more out of creating and sending this package than I ever thought possible. So I'm totally addicted now to this Happy Mail thing. Of course, it'd be pretty awesome to get one of these packages. I've never gotten anything quite like it, so that would be really cool. But giving it, I feel like, is just as joyful as receiving. So now I'm just going to go through and start working on the bag toppers for these larger packages. And here's where I have learned something. What I think I will do in the future is I will take larger pieces of pattern paper, be it 8.5 by 11 or 12 by 12, whatever I'm working with. I'm going to go ahead, pick a few that I will use throughout the packaging, and then pre-cut them into the long strips folded in half, and then I can just snip pieces as long as I need, because I ran into a little bit of a struggle here. This package went fine, but when I start working on the larger bundle one, I realized that I didn't make the paper topper long enough, and it was very frustrating. So that was kind of one of those moments where I learned what to do better in the future. Next, I've just, again, pulled some more of the pieces that I didn't end up using in the projects I made. I'm going back through some of the die cuts, and I'm just pulling out little pieces to just decorate the top. It was a much quicker process than I thought it would be. I had to resist the temptation to pull out the foam and to give it dimension, but then I had to remind myself this was just the packaging. It didn't need to be dimensional, although it could be. That would be really fun and cute, and creating some of these packages was just as fun as creating the original projects. I just thought this was so much fun, just such an awesome opportunity and exercise in just having some creative playtime and some freedom in it. So I love how that package turned out with the little boo to you. And then here's where things go a little pear-shaped. I realized that I used the wrong piece. That orange piece I'd already used. I think I had measured for the larger bag, and that bag is maybe 1/4 of an inch wider. So I went back into the rest of the pieces that I'd already had printed out. Again, these were all basically digital papers that I printed onto 8.5 by 11 paper. And then I found this one back in my stash that had all these cute little images. And like I said it before in a different video, it looks to me like a Halloween advent. So I've decided I'm just going to go ahead and use that. I loved the combination of these 4 pieces, how they all came together. The little skeleton couple is so adorable. And then I'm just going to go ahead and finish it off with a little bit of this black pom-pom trim. And I only stapled it on the edges so that she could also reuse that in a project if she wanted to. And she could easily use that bag topper again too, just punch it out with a paper punch or any way she wants. So I love the versatility of this project. I love being able to include so many different things that you could snip and cut apart and reuse in any way that your imagination could possibly go. So next I'm going through the die cuts again, and I've decided I should pull some out that I know I want to include on some of the decoration. And then I realized I have a lot left and I don't really need to store these, so I just put them all into a package and sent them off to my friend. So that was another great way to share some of the product. So, with digitals, you want to be careful because the whole intention behind their rights and usage and terms is that you don't distribute. But I think when you have printed and cut them and then send them off to a friend, I think that's okay. Obviously, you would never want to print, cut, and sell. That would be a big no-no. But sharing them with a friend, I think, is completely appropriate. And I know that she'll appreciate that I went through the trouble of pre-cutting those and printing those all on my silhouette and getting it done for her, because her and I have had plenty of conversations about the struggles of silhouette and learning how to make it all work. So I know she'll appreciate that. So here again, I'm just taking a strip of paper and I'm going to go ahead and include some more of these fun little die cuts. These are basically ones that I didn't use in the project and I really wanted to. They're some of my favorites, but they just never made it onto a project. So I'm just going to pull out a few more of those little words, and I ended up really liking the effect that the Happy Halloween banner had. So these are just black strips that I had die cut. They are just like a tagged die cut that I have. So I'd already pre-cut those. I just never used them in the project, and just went ahead and put some die cuts on it. I wonder how many more times I can say die cuts. Okay, now I'm going to work on my spooky, creepy skeleton couple. Every time I look at these little people, it makes me happy. They're so cute and funny and creepy all at the same time. So for this package, I decided to just go ahead and turn it so that it was landscape and add just a small strip of a bag topper, although I guess it's not really at the top. And then I just put on that little haunted house, a little pumpkin, and then I'm going to grab out another word, and this one says Jeepers Creepers. Jeepers Creepers is not really a saying I would ever typically use, but I don't know, it's kind of growing on me. I've seen it a couple of times this Halloween season, and it just, I don't know, it kind of makes me laugh. So next I have these crepe paper and paper ribbons that I've sewn. These again were just extra pieces that I just wanted to give her so she could play around with them. And I'm going to go back to one of those black tags that I had pre-cut, and I'm just going to put this boo right on here. Now the ribbons are a little tall, so the bag doesn't properly close, which is fine. So I'm going to make sure that when I attach this to the bag, I only attach it to the front part. I had a little trouble fiddling around with it. My fat little fingers don't always appreciate anything delicate, so I had a little bit of struggle, but eventually I got it to all come together, and I just really liked that she can reuse that bag if she wanted to as well. Here is a bag of the little trims that I had created. There was the sewn tulle and lace ruffle, and I'm just going to grab a bit more of that black lace that I had. And again, this was all a remnant that I had gotten from Hobby Lobby. Make sure that you are checking the remnant piles at your local craft shop. If they have fabric, you want to go through those remnant piles and see what you can find. I know in the past I've also gotten like really awesome bits of burlap and canvas and other things that can be worked in a project, but I don't need even 1/4 of a yard of. So remnants are a great find for projects like this. So I'm just going to use a smidge of the tulle and the lace, and I'm just kind of cut them into rough shapes, and I'm just going to go ahead and put them at the top. And I'm going to use that little spooky fright night or spooky night tag. Again, this one's just a little larger than the last one I had used, and I'm just going to staple it right to the top, and then grab another one of those word strips and just pop it down at kind of a funky angle so that it's just kind of just stuck down there. So it said October 31st, which I kind of liked. So here's another bag topper. I'm kind of getting to the point of this where I'm starting to find a groove, and I'm also kind of wanting to be done. So I'm making decisions a lot quicker. And I think that that's kind of the beauty of the packaging part, is that you don't have to overthink it. It's really even more of a great exercise in creative fun. It's really an opportunity to just try stuff out. So I really had a good time with that. And again, here's another one of those packages of pre-cut die cuts that I had done on my silhouette, and some of the cut apart cards that I just didn't use. So I'm going to share those with her. And again, I already have now gotten to the point where I've figured out to pre-fold and cut some of the pattern paper so that I can just grab them and make my bag toppers. So that could be a project I might sit down and do one day when I know I'm going to work on a Happy Mail project like the Christmas one. I might just go ahead and pre-create some of the packaging toppers and things like that. And the idea of having these foundation pieces is something I'm really starting to understand and appreciate after having created this project. So that one I just threw the cute little Hey Pumpkin on and a couple of the pumpkin die cuts. Here is the waterfall package that I am going to try to put together. In my mind, I knew this is exactly how I wanted it to look. On my desk, I had a package of sequins that kind of had the same waterfall effect. And so immediately I knew it would be perfect packaging for something like this. So I've just grabbed out a piece of the black cardstock, and I'm stapling the bags right on top. And I'm just going to layer them so that they create that waterfall effect. And then I'm just going to cut off the top. I don't need the bags to actually close since I'm going to create a bag topper. So I'm going to go ahead again and grab a piece of that pattern paper I already have ready to go, snip off the top, and then a few staples. That tiny attacher is honestly my best friend. I love that thing so much. If you don't have one, you should get one. They are really, really awesome. Okay, so here I'm just like I said, I'm getting kind of towards the point where I'm like, okay, we just need to wrap this up. So simple Halloween little die cut, a couple of little dimensionals, and I'm getting very close to being done. Here's another one of those packages of pre-made items that I didn't use, so I'm just going to include those for my friend. And again, just a simple bag topper, and I'm going to cut off the top. So when I put those in the bag, I did it so that the closure was at the bottom, and then I just snipped the top off. So she could reuse the bag, keep them in there, reclose it. So that was another great tip that I had picked up from somebody, to put the closure of the bag at the bottom so that it's reusable, so you can open it up and reuse it. So I am just going to put that cute little vampire guy on there and Happy Halloween, and keep this one really simple. I had already put a few sequins in that so that they would just kind of shake around. Here I am going to use just the numbers 31 to put at the top of this little piece that I have for these paper clip banners. And for that packaging, I mean, talk about easy. All I did was just put the paper clips on, and very, very simple. Okay, so here is where I'm going to attempt to create my first little puffy sticker charm ensemble. So what I've done is I've got some jump rings, and this one's a little bit larger, a gold jump ring. I'm going to go into my stash and find something else that'll work. I ended up grabbing this big black tassel. I found this little charm that says friend, and I knew it would be perfect because one, she is a dear friend of mine, and two, the word, it's not quite the Friends logo friend, but it kind of makes me think of that, and I know she's a huge fan of the show Friends, so I thought it'll be perfect for her. So now I'm just going to grab a puffy sticker, and again, I just gravitated to that little witch. I think she's so cute. And I've also grabbed this little pouch that is used for embossing. I don't know what it's called, but I'll try to link it below. And I've just used it to take the stickiness off the back of that puffy sticker. I thought about backing it with a piece of paper, but I am not very good at fussy cutting, so I just pulled the stickiness off. There was still a little stickiness, but I think if I had just spent a little more time with that little pouch, it would have worked. I know that like probably cornstarch would do the same thing, or baby powder, anything like that will probably give you the same effect to help remove that stickiness. So now I've just put the 3 little charms on, and I'm going to stick it in the little corner. I'd already put an eyelet there, so I had a little trouble fiddling it on, but I got it done. So here's a close-up of the little witch charm. It turned out so cute. So my packaging is pretty much done. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put it all into the box. So I kind of looked for videos. Maybe I just didn't look very hard, but I wanted to see some videos, some ideas on how to package this up. And ultimately, I didn't really find anything. I've seen plenty of videos of people pulling stuff out, so I kind of just put it together in my own head, and this is what I came up with. So I've gone ahead and used my 1 inch and smaller, like my 3/4 inch, and then my, I don't even know, I have a really little one, round paper punches. Wow, man, I am struggling today. I think I need another cup of coffee. So I just cut some crepe paper and some black paper and created my own confetti. I also have these large sequins and some crinkle paper, and then I also had some plastic spiders and a few pieces of candy. So I'm just going to basically sprinkle them on in layers. I also had some of the other sequin mix that I had used in some of the projects. So I'm just going to start piling it all in. I've also included a few other little treats for my friend. So I've got this little trick-or-treat bag. I've put a bunch of chocolate candy bars and candies in. The little cauldron has a few candies. So I've just tucked in little extra presents as I go. And I will definitely be on the lookout as we approach Christmas for things that would be really fun to put in a Happy Meal package. I'm thinking things like socks and hot cocoa, all of those kinds of things. So again, I'm basically just piling stuff in and layering it up and making a big mess, because I think that will be part of the fun, is that whoever receives a package like this, when they start pulling it all apart, it's just like this explosion of stuff. So the confetti and everything, I tried to not put anything too little. I wanted it to be manageable. I would be really mad if I opened up a package and there was itty bitty tiny bits of glitter, because I already have enough of that in my craft space. So I've got some pencils, little notebooks. She has a couple of kids, so I wanted to include a few extra things that they would like. And then I kind of got to a point where I realized I hadn't put some of these things in packaging in bags. And then I realized maybe I ought to do that just so that they're protected more. But I couldn't really be bothered with going back and decorating the outside of the bag. So I ended up going back into my stash and just basically finding a sticker and sticking it on the bag. I feel like it's already decorated enough because it has the cute little pocket with the little bat and the little pumpkin. So I was fine with that. So I'm just going to start, again, sticking more things in and kind of plopping them down here and there. I do end up realizing I have a few more things that don't have packaging, so I'm going to put those into this little bundle as well. Little skeleton guy, he needs a home, so they're all going to just rest comfortably in there. The other things I've included are these little headbands, an eye mask, a black eye mask. I thought that was kind of fitting. I thought about linking the little cat ears, and then I realized they'll probably get jostled around and maybe get broken, and I didn't want that to happen. This package did not have to go very far. It was staying local, but I still knew it was going to get jostled around quite a bit because I've seen how mail is delivered to my home. So I'm just going to finish it off with the last of the candies, the spiders. I'm going to dump the rest of the confetti in, and then I'm going to grab a little bit more crinkle at some point here. I ended up putting in that teal color because that's my brand color. That's Craft Social brand color, and so I have a bunch of bags of that, and I just wanted to include that into the package, and that'll probably always be a mainstay of anything I create. This color will always go in there. Now, I don't have a lot of experience with this crinkle paper, and I have since realized that what you ought to do is put it in some other large box or vessel and really spend some time pulling it apart, because it just keeps coming apart, and those crinkles are, some of them are super tight. And so getting them more and more apart, it really takes some effort and some time. My arms were getting a little tired by the end of this, but we got it done. So the last thing I'm going to do is grab another piece of this tissue paper. This is just some leftover tissue paper I have from my Felicity Jane kits I used to get. So I'm going to tuck that in. I am going to tuck in the card that I made. I just used a flat black piece of cardstock that was pre-cut and a little pattern paper. Again, my favorite piece, the little witch, and it said trick or treat. And then I'm just going to grab one of my branded Happy Mail stickers. This is the sticker I use on my stamps when I mail them out. The front I decorated with a cute pumpkin, a little washi, and I wrote "Boo to You" in a white souffle pen, and that's it. I give it a good shake. I kind of double check, make sure everything seems like it's going to stay put, and done and done. Oh man, what a fun project. So I will just leave you here to look at some of the packaging and the photos, and I will just ask, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and finally hit that little bell so you're getting notifications. Trust me, you're going to want to make sure that you get notifications, because I have a feeling there's going to be a whole lot more Happy Mail videos coming, especially with Christmas right around the corner. Thanks, friends. I'll see you next time.